This story takes place in a town called Macomb in Alabama. It's a pretty quiet southern town with not much going on. We are introduced to a girl named Jean Louise Finch, or better known as Scout Finch, who's the narrator of the book. Scout lives in this town with her brother Jem and her father, Atticus Finch. Their mother passed away when she was young. Her father has employed a lady called Calpurnia to help around the house and help raise the kids. Atticus is a lawyer, albeit not a rich one, since most of his clients are poor and it is during the Great Depression. Scout and Jem spend most of their days playing outside. They also have a friend called Dill, whom they always hang out with during the summers when he comes to visit his aunt. Their father is not around much, and they spend a lot of time with Calpurnia. On one Christmas, Atticus buys the kids air rifles. He, however, cautions them and says they can shoot any birds but a mockingbird. Why? He says, mockingbirds don't do one thing but make music for us to enjoy. They don't eat up people's gardens, don't nest in corn cribs. They don't do one thing but sing their hearts out for us. That's why it's a sin to kill a mockingbird. This plays out later on. Now, just like any other kids, they cause some mischief here and there. In particular, they are always trying to spy around the Radley's house. Arthur Radley resides here. There are many stories told about him, like he's some type of monster, leading kids to be scared of even getting close to the house. You see, Arthur does not step outside, and he has even been nicknamed Boo Radley. The true story is that he got into some trouble as a teen with the law, and his father locked him in the house, and he just became a recluse. Even after his father dies, he just does not step out. On one night, as the three kids are trying to peek in the house, Nathan Radley, Arthur's brother, shoots in the air and the kids flee. Jam's pants are caught on the fence and he has to leave them. When he goes back to get them, he finds that they have been stitched up and folded. Thanks to Boo Radley, the monster who stitches pants. There's an oak tree next to the Radley place with a hole in it, and Jem and Scout often find gum, pennies, a spelling bee medal, and a few other gifts. This is weird as they never see anyone put them there. They write a letter to leave it in the hole to thank the person, but find that Nathan Radley has filled the hole with cement. As their usual routine is going on, they begin to notice murmurs in the town about their father, and kids at school refer to their father as a nigger lover. Now keep in mind, this is Alabama in the 1930s, so these type of sentiments were openly accepted. It turns out that their father is defending a black man called Tom Robinson, who has been accused of raping a white woman called Maella Ewell. Now, the Ewells are not the most respectable members of society. Bob Ewell, Maella's father, doesn't work and is on welfare. The kids only go to school on the first day and are never seen again. They are basically what people in those areas would refer to as white trash. But at the end of the day, they are still white and Tom Robinson is a black man. Scout and Jem are now having to deal with ridicule from schoolmates and even sometimes grown folk. Jem usually stays calm about it, but Scout doesn't have the same sensibilities. Plus, she's still very young. So she gets into conflicts here and there. On one occasion, she beats up her cousin Frances for referring to Atticus in a derogatory manner. Nobody's gonna badmouth Atticus in her presence. As all this is going on, her aunt, Alexandra, sees it fit to come stay with them. She has always been critical about how Atticus raises them. She's also not very fond of Calpurnia, probably due to her race, while Jem and Scout see Calpurnia as a mother figure. The trial of Tom Robinson nears, and tensions are pretty high in the town. The night before the trial, Atticus decides to spend the night guarding Tom's cells, as he fears for the worst. And sure as day, a mob comes with the intention of lynching Tom. Scout, Jem, and Dill had secretly followed Atticus and barge in when they see the commotion. Scout recognizes one of the men, Mr. Cunningham, and starts having a mundane conversation with him. She tells him that she goes to school with his son. The mob is a bit embarrassed and decides to go home. As the trial commences, the courthouse is packed. The kids sit in the balcony area with the black residents. It's really not the best area, and is of course designated for black people. Bob Ewell takes the stand and recounts his side of the story, how he saw Tom assaulting his daughter, but Tom ran away before he could catch him. Mayala also takes the stand and gives an account of the story and points at Tom as the perpetrator. Tom finally takes the stand and gives his account. According to him, Mayala tried to seduce him, but he refused and ran away due to fear, as a black man in the South caught in that type of situation is bad news. Atticus, being a very keen lawyer, highlights a lot of inconsistencies in the accounts of both Bob and Mayella. For one, there's the fact that after the alleged assault, no doctor was called, which Bob claims they didn't call a doctor because it's expensive. Another major one, and probably the one that raises the most eyebrows, is Mayella and Bob claim she was hit on the right cheek, meaning the person who hit her must have been a left-handed person. Well, not only is Tom not left-handed, but his left hand is disabled. It has been shriveled almost all his life after an accident in his childhood. But you know who's left-handed? Bob Ewell. Atticus concludes that Bob assaulted Mayella after seeing her trying to kiss Tom and needed to hide the shame of kissing a black man, so they accused him of rape. It is almost clear to everyone that Tom should be set free. Surely the jury agrees. Wrong. They find Tom guilty. Scout cannot believe what has happened. Dill, at one point, weeps during the trial, seeing what Tom is being taken through. Atticus, however, knew that it was unlikely that Tom would be acquitted, as it is the nature of the beast when it comes to justice in the South. Tom is taken to prison, but Atticus promises him that he will appeal to a higher court. Bob Ewell swears to revenge against Atticus for embarrassing him. Back at home, Scout notices how awful the women talk about black people, by our neighbor called Miss Maudie. Even at school, she gets confused when her teacher talks about how America isn't as prejudiced like Hitler's Germany, but remembers clearly the same teacher saying blacks need to be taught a lesson and know their place. As all this is going on, Atticus comes home with some very sad news. While in prison, Tom tried to escape and was unfortunately shot dead. The townfolk don't seem upset and say that he acted just like a Negro would, acting without thinking about the consequences. The only person who publicly condemns the act is Mr. Underwood, who's the owner of the Macomb Tribune, likening the death of Tom Robinson to the senseless slaughter of songbirds by hunters and children. Tom's death is soon forgotten. The town hosts a Halloween event. Scout is supposed to wear a ham costume made of chicken wire and brown cloth to be part of a pageant. After the pageant, she is walking home with Jem. It is night and they cannot see much, but hear somebody following them. They are suddenly attacked by an unknown person as they are passing by the Radley's house. A scuffle ensues and Scout finds herself being choked. The attacker is pulled off, and after a while, she sees a man carrying Jem towards their house. A doctor is called and examines Jem. He has a broken arm and is unconscious. Scout tries to explain to the sheriff, Hectate, what happened. As she is looking at the man who carried Jem home, she notices it is Boo Radley. Hectate goes to the scene of the assault and finds Bob Ewell dead, with a knife stuck under his ribs. Turns out he wanted to kill Atticus's children, but Boo Radley heard the commotion and saved them. The sheriff decides that he will tell the public that Bob tripped and fell on his knife and will not mention Jem's involvement. Atticus is against the idea, as he is a man of truth and justice and doesn't want his kids to think he has used his association with the sheriff to curtail justice. But Scout tells him it is okay. It will not be ideal to have the spotlight on Boo Radley, even though he will most likely be seen as a hero. Instead, it's better to leave him alone, as that's the life he always lives, and that's how he wants to live. Scout realizes that exposing Boo Radley would be akin to killing a mockingbird, and that is To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee.